Coach Garey, we're talking about kids and omega-3s, and what's really important is to understand the timeline of the development of the brain.
All right, rolling.
We talked about the brain doubling from birth until the first year, and by age 3, that toddler's brain is actually 80% grown to its adult weight. And by age 5, it's 90%. Of course, developmentally, we also know that you don't get complete full brain development until you're about age 25, and that's why they will not rent cars to people under age 25. We're always developing and growing, so we need those important, ultimately super healthy fats that are going to empower us to have the IQ, the brain cells, to succeed in life. That's what it's all about. So one of the big problems in raising kids, I've raised 10 of them, there is this abundant and boundless energy in children. They just thrive on activity and fantasy and making up games, and they're empowered by the nutrients that they eat. I think we can all agree on that. Well, there's a problem in today's sad American, the sad diet, the standard American diet, is that we get way too many bad industrialized seed oil fats, and we get way too many carbohydrates that are the sugary kind that burn up quickly in the body and get stored as adipose tissue or fat. This is a problem. And what it leads to behaviorally, what I've noticed, my personal opinion, is that there's way too much sugar in a child's diet. All the children's cereals, Lucky Charms, and you name it, they're all full of sugar. There's 100 different names for sugar that they put on the labeling to try to cloak and hide the fact that it's full of sugar. And of course, probably the worst offender is high fructose corn syrup, and then after they put in the high fructose corn syrup, then they add a little more corn syrup that's not high fructose. You miss the message of what's actually the true ingredients in that cereal product that you're giving your kids. So if there's any other advice I can give about brain development, is to limit the sugar as much as possible and teach kids how to get the sweetness of life from vegetables. I probably didn't realize this myself until I was definitely an adult in my 20s. After I did my very first fast, I realized, and I started eating again after a 3-day fast, bit into a carrot, and it was amazing the sweetness that's in a carrot. We don't really catch that when we're scooping sugar into our coffee or we're drinking Coca-Cola. The carrot does not taste sweet. It tastes like a vegetable. Oh my God. Well, if you fast for 3 days and clean your palate out, you'll find out how many vegetables are very, very sweet. Vegetables are carbohydrates, and they will nourish your body with all those phytonutrients that plants have, but they can also provide a lot of carbs for the energy that you need in life. You don't have to go to the processed foods to get carbohydrates. That's a critical and an important point that I had one of my teenage kids had a medical appointment, and we were in a waiting room, and there was a child who was literally bouncing off the walls, like so much energy, hyper deficit disorder, whatever you want to call it. And the father was promising him if he would sit down and be good and do the appointment properly, that he would reward him with some ice cream. Okay, so the reward always goes to the sweet things, and that's a problem. That creates a problem, because that is that instant burn-up energy that allows children just to go wild. So lower that down. One of the most satiating things you can have in your diet is fats. So for example, I just made my smoothie. I put in half of an avocado in the smoothie. It is the right type of fats that you need for really, really good health. doesn't fill you up to bloating, but it does satiate the appetite where you know your body is getting good things that it needs. Right now, Americans consume about 240 pounds of sugar a year. That's the average, which means some people don't consume very much sugar at all, and there's a lot of people who consume more than 240 pounds of sugar a year. In 1850, I just want you to take a wild guess as to how much sugar the average American consumed in 1850. Okay, so the answer is 4 pounds in a year, reserved for that one Sunday of the month when there was going to be a dessert on the table. That's the type of usage sugar had when we didn't have this abundance of food that we have today. I mean, talk about hunter-gatherer diet. I mean, the hunting is going to the supermarket. The doors open automatically. You don't even have to push the door open and expend any energy. You just walk in, pushing your basket, and load up on all the food that you want from all over the world. It's an abundance, and it's we're blessed in that way, we're privileged in that way, but it's not always good for you to consume all that you can. So just keep it in mind, especially in the child rearing and developmental stages, to find other ways to entice children to do the right thing.
First of all, it's Coach Garey, and I have several resources I want to share with you. The first of which is our toll-free telephone number, 877-572-3444. You may get Marcy, you may get me, or you may get voicemail. Go ahead and leave a message, and I or Marcy will get back to you as soon as possible. If the question is about supplements, it'll be me getting back to you. Second resource is me, Ask Coach Garey. So that's the title of our little project that we've got going here. I have 15 years experience with nutrition, health, and fitness. I do not charge money to coach you if your question is about nutrition or about supplements. Third, you can Google Ask Coach Garey. Now, Garey is spelled G-A-R-E-Y. G-A-R-E-Y. That's Garey with an E in the middle. Search for that inside of YouTube, and there's over 100 videos that I've already recorded, and most of them are between 3, 4, 5 minutes long, so they don't take long to go through, but each one of them has a little nugget or an important point that you can add to your collection of wisdom to help you feel better and live better. I have developed many supplements and combinations of supplements to help you feel better and live well. Please check us out. Congratulations on your journey to optimal health. Over here, we have the Knowledge Library where you are welcome to dive in and keep learning.